body position, the proper body position on your bike. Step 2 is the controls, how you're gonna pop the clutch. And step 3 is how you're gonna balance and back brake control, which is key. So before we even start, do not have shorts on. Do not have sweatpants on. Make sure we're in the proper riding gear. Always have a helmet, because
you never know.
You never know. So step 1 is body position. You don't want to be super high up on the seat, because then it's going to be, think about it, it's going to be way harder for the bike just to come up.
And your arms are bent way too far in.
Yep. And you don't want to be too far back, because it's super awkward. You could lose your grip on the clutch. Throttle, you could potentially whiskey throttle it, and this will happen. The neutral part of your bike, the middle of your bike, and your arms don't want to be super stiff attack position like you're at the motocross track, and you don't want to be loosey-goosey like that. It's not cool. You want to just be in the middle, keep your arms loose, don't be so stiff, just relax, let it flow, you know, it'll come. So after you feel comfortable, you have the proper body position in place, you're loose, you're not too stiff, you're gonna move on to step 2, and that is the controls you're gonna use for the wheelie. So the clutch, you're gonna be popping the clutch to get the power to get up. And the back brake is your best friend. You want your right foot hovered over it, and just, you always know where it is, because if goes down, you got the back brake.
One thing I want to bring up that's really important about the clutch is that you don't want to put all your fingers on the clutch to shift when you're trying to wheelie, or in general. You want to be able to control your bike and to keep a grip and stability on here. So 2 fingers or 1 finger is probably your best bet for any wheelies doing stuff like this, because you want to make sure that you have that stability in your handlebars when you bring this bike up.
All right, so step 3 is using your back brake to your advantage. Now what I mean by that is when you go too high up, if you're not on that back brake, you're just gonna keep going back. If you are really on that back brake, you're gonna slam forward real quick, and you're probably gonna slingshot off the damn bike. It's happened to me multiple times. But if you tap it when you're right at that balance point, you're just gonna come down a little bit, and then you give it more gas, and it comes up, and then goes too far back, you hit the back brake, it goes a little forward.
Also, to include with that, with your back brake, you're gonna wanna keep the throttle smooth while you're holding it up. Maybe increase it a little bit if you need to bring your front end up. But that back brake, like Zach was saying, is so important, because if you go too far back, you can tap the back brake with your foot, and it's gonna bring your nose back down a little bit so that you can keep that balance point and not fall backwards.
To master the back brake, you don't just go out there and send it. We're gonna do a little drill you should definitely do. You wanna be on grass, and you want to do this drill Ryan's about to show you. And it's just to get you familiar with the back brake, because your back brake is your best friend. If you don't use your back brake, this happens. It's a clip of me on my 450E. So Ryan's gonna do a couple drills showing you what you need to do first. Once you're comfortable with the back brake and you got this drill unlocked, that's when you can start getting a little higher, because you're comfortable with the back brake. You know when you need to tap it. Back brake drill, you can either pop the clutch or you can just gas it. The whole point of the drill is as soon as you see your front tire come up, tap that back brake. You'll realize how quick it goes down. Whenever you feel comfortable with the back brake, that's when you can start getting it up and trying to actually do a sick ass wheelie.
Alright guys, so now that you've learned the importance of the back brake and the control that you need to be able to have when bringing that front end up, I'm going to talk about using the clutch to get your front end up. My favorite way to practice is I usually do 2nd gear, because it's a little easier. 1st gear is a lot slower, so you can get that height up and it'll be quick. You don't really need the clutch, but 2nd gear I like it because you can pop the clutch and you can find your balance point with a little bit of speed. And I recommend doing it on grass for sure if this is your first time actually wheeling. So when you start to wheelie, usually you can either just throttle it out and get the front end up, but most of the time you don't want to be going that fast in the high top end to do that. So say if you start in 2nd gear at a low RPM, you're going to use the clutch to get the front end up. So what I usually do is I'll use 1 finger, or I'll use 2 fingers if I'm tired. Never use your whole hand, because when you use your whole hand like this, you're not going to be able to hold on to anything. So 1 finger allows me to hold on and pull in the clutch. Importance to pop in the clutch, you want to be able to pop it not high in the RPMs. You want to be able to push it in, rev it a little bit, and pop right away. So I'm going to give you a quick example of popping the clutch.
All right, so once you got popping the clutch down and your back brake control is a little on point, you did that first drill, you're ready to actually start sending it and be a wheelie boy. You don't want to go in first gear. You don't want to be going in fourth gear. You want to be second, third. Pop the clutch, get it up. Don't be very choppy with the throttle. Just kind of ease into it. And once you get up, you'll feel the balance point. That balance point is where you can let go of the gas and actually just start coasting.
For me, when I started to learn how to wheelie, I've only gotten this good in the past 6 months. When I first started wheeling, the main thing for me was making sure that my wrist could stay controlled enough to hold the RPMs where I want it. Because if you're not controlled in the throttle, you're not going to be controlled in the pitch of the front end. If you chop it too hard, you're going to flip backwards. If you don't give it enough, the front end's going to come down. You want to make sure the throttle is very smooth, relaxed on it. You don't want to twist it too fast. And yeah, get comfortable at a height that you feel comfortable first. No one said that you're gonna be able to wheelie all the way down a road on your first wheelie. It takes practice, it takes time, and you gotta get comfortable in your balance point.
So once you got step one down, your body position, the proper body position, not too loose, not too stiff, just in the middle. Once you got step two, your controls down, you know, you're getting familiar with the back brake, you're popping the clutch if you need to. And then step three, doing the drill, getting your front tire up a little bit, tapping that back brake immediately so you get familiar with how it reacts. After you do that drill about 100 times, you hit that back brake 100 times from just seeing your wheel go up, you're gonna be very familiar with the back brake. You will be surprised at how good you are, how much control you have in a wheelie once you're familiar with tapping that back brake. You could scrape, you could do what Axel Hodges does and all the people do by jumping, standing on the seat. No, you can't do that. Like, your bike control just goes up. You just become a better rider no matter what when you learn back brake control and you can wheelie.
Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, so take your time. Practice makes perfect, as they've always said. So, all right guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video on how to wheelie. We talked about 3 important factors in the wheelie: body positioning, throttle and clutch control, and using your back brake to your advantage to keep you from flipping.
If this video helped you in any way, make sure you drop a like, smash that subscribe button, and leave any comments you have below. Video suggestions, things we might have left out. Also, check out our Instagram, we just made it. Drop a follow. If you have a question there, shoot us a DM. We literally will respond in 5 minutes. And yeah, giveaway launches October 12th. Peace.